My name is Charles Kaplan. I'm a professor at the State University of New York at Old Westbury, and we're working out chain rule problems in these few videos. This is the third video on the chain rule, and I think we're only going to do the one problem on this video, and then I'm going to have two more videos in which I do one problem each, because if I try to do too many on one video, we run over the time limit of these videos on some of the various internet websites. So, alright, here's the problem we're going to work out. X times the square root of 1 minus x squared. We need to lift the square root bracket, so we're going to rewrite this as x times 1 minus x squared to the 1/2, right? The square root's the same as saying raise me to the power of 1/2. This is a product rule problem, and if you recall the product rule, let's write that out here. Product rule. Whoops, okay, product rule, we have two functions, f of x and g of x, so to differentiate them, we're going to take the derivative of f and multiply it by g, and then we're going to add to that the derivative of g, the second, times the first function, f of x. So we take the derivative of the first function, we multiply it times the second, and then we add the derivative of the second times the first. And that's the product rule. And that's what we're going to do right here with this problem. Let me straighten this out a little bit. Okay. So the derivative of x is 1 times the second function, which is 1 minus x squared to the 1/2. And then we're going to add to that the derivative of the second times the first. Well, the first is x. Let's write that in here. And then it's a chain rule problem. We take a half, we bring it out front. This we're going to multiply by it. Times 1 minus x squared. 1/2 minus 1, which is 1/2 minus 2/2, is negative 1/2. And then we're going to multiply this whole thing by the derivative of the inside part. Well, the derivative of 1 minus x squared is negative 2x. So now we've just got to finish working out the algebra here. The calculus is easy. It's the algebra that's the hard part on these problems. I hope you've realized that by now. The calculus is nothing. Students get frightened by all the Greek symbols and all the letters and everything in here, and f of x and f prime x and f double prime x, but it's not that. It's the algebra is the hard part. Well, this is just the square root of 1 minus x squared plus, let's see, x times a half is x over 2. X over 2 times negative 2x is negative x squared. So negative x squared times 1 minus x squared to the negative 1/2. Okay. F prime of x, the derivative, is equal to the square root of 1 minus x squared minus, and then let's kick this negative exponent, this term with the negative exponent, into the denominator. So we get minus the square root of 1 minus x squared, and we have x squared, right? I took the minus sign, I put it here, and I just stuck x squared up into here. Now, we need to find a common denominator. That common denominator is the square root of 1 minus x squared, so I'm going to multiply this term to the left of the minus sign by 1. I'm not going to change its value, but I'm going to multiply by the square root of 1 minus x squared over the square root of 1 minus x squared. So f prime x is equal to, let's see, 1 minus x squared times the square root of 1 minus x squared over the square root of 1 minus x squared minus, and then I'm just going to subtract off this term here. Square root of 1 minus x squared and we have x squared there. So, okay, I've run out of paper, or I've run out of page, I should say. I technically haven't run out of paper. Run out of room. Run out of room, partner. Partner. Okay. The square root of 1 minus x squared times the square root of 1 minus x squared, we wind up just lifting the square root bracket. So, that's 1 minus x squared over the square root of 1 minus x squared. And then we're going to subtract off square root of 1 minus x squared in the denominator and x squared in the numerator. Now we can just combine the terms in the numerator over one denominator. So that's 1 minus x squared over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Okay, let me get rid of this now. And let's see. Minus x squared is minus 2x squared. So f prime x is equal to 1 minus 2x squared over the square root of 1 minus x squared. And that, folks, is the first derivative of this. We started with this guy, and when we differentiated it, we wound up with this guy. So, that's the end of this problem in this video. We have 2 more videos I'm going to be putting up on the chain rule, 1 problem each. My name is Charles Kaplan. I'm a professor at the State University of New York at Old Westbury. I hope you found that this video is helpful, and I hope you find all my videos helpful. Bye-bye.